Welcome everybody to the TimeSplitters Portal podcast. I am Drifting, and with me here is Chris.
Hello everyone.
Okay, so how was your day?
My day was really great, Drifting. Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome, anytime.
How was yours?
Oh, it was great.
So Drifting, I was reading on the reading thread, the What Are You Reading thread, a couple days back that you were reading the book Confederacy of Dunces from John Kennedy Toole.
That's right.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was pretty funny. Ignatius is kind of a character. He believes in Boethius philosophy, which is basically live and let live, more or less. He's very cynical, and it's a very funny book set in New Orleans in the early 60s. I would recommend it to anybody.
So have you read any other books of the type, I think the word is picaresque?
Picaresque.
So I have written down here Don Quixote. Have you read Don Quixote?
I've read bits and pieces of it. It's been one of those books where I've always wanted to read it, but have not. I read an abridged version way back when, but I can only half remember it now. So if I picked it up today, it would probably be brand new.
I'm in a similar position. I've read parts of it in Spanish as part of my Spanish literature class, but I retained none of it, and moreover, it wasn't the whole thing. It's one of those books I've always wanted to read myself, but I've never gotten around to.
Yeah.
So, have you been able to play the Dark Souls 2 beta? I've heard a lot of people talking about it.
I have not, unfortunately. I have watched the trailers, though. Trailers are pretty good. It looks similar to Dark Souls, but different at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to getting a chance of playing it. But they're staying pretty quiet on it for the most part, actually.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. How they're trying to mess with the people who've gotten used to the way that Dark Souls work. Like I heard an example of how there's this giant guy, and when you come up to backstab him, like he falls on you and then you die.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that's really fascinating to me as someone who doesn't play Dark Souls much at all.
Software really likes to screw the player over at all times.
Have you played Kingsfield or any of their other games?
Kingsfield? No, I haven't. I really wish I had, but I have not. I've never played Kingsfield.
It's something to consider.
No. It's PC, isn't it, or is it console? I don't really know.
I think it came out a while ago. I believe it's on the PS1. I don't know if it's for the PC. It might be.
I could probably emulate it. I don't know.
Pretty easily.
I hear from some people that Demon Souls and Dark Souls is actually kind of like a spiritual successor to that series. But
that's the impression I got too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It might be worth checking out.
Another game you mentioned in the thread was a game called Beneath the Steel Sky, which is free on goodoldgames.com, which I assume is how you got it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It's an adventure game, kind of in the spirit of the old LucasArts adventure games like Monkey Island and Sam & Max, all those. It's a pretty good game. It's basically about technology and the influence the kind of corporations have in our lives, and also kind of just technology in general. It's dystopian. A guy's trapped inside some city. He can't get out of it, and he's basically trying to get out of it. That's the story. That's
neat. Have you played any other adventure games like Kingsfield or any of the LucasArts games like they did?
I mean, yeah, I played Sam & Max a long time ago, and I grew up with a lot of those games. Especially like the ones that were more kid-oriented, like Pajama Sam and all those. I grew up with those.
Oh man, I love Pajama Sam.
Yeah, he was amazing back in the day.
Do you find that you prefer like the Sierra adventure games or the LucasArts ones?
Probably LucasArts. LucasArts games usually have a fair bit of pixel hunting in them, but I mean I like the stories better. Sierra is just I don't think Sierra games have aged nearly as well as the LucasArts ones, because they were always more kind of I don't know, kind of like trying to complete the game in the least amount of turns kind of thing. I don't know.
All right. So you predominantly play on the PC, is that correct?
That is correct.
So currently you're not on board for any like the PS4, the Xbox One, or the Wii U?
I'm kind of keeping one eye open as far as watching them. Not a big deal, but yeah, I do like to watch those just because it's big in gaming, and you get to see a lot of new games that are coming out, and especially since a lot more games are being ported to PC now from console, you can kind of watch and see the release games and kind of wonder, which ones are going to come out on PC at the same time or a little later. So yeah.
So is there one thing that could seal the deal for you and say, like you say, I want a PS4, I want an Xbox One?
TimeSplitters 4. Anything less than that, probably not. Maybe Second Sight 2, but I see even less chance of that happening than I do
Somehow
TimeSplitters
even
4.
less.
Yeah.
I was all excited. I was all gung ho about the PS4 until Watch Dogs was delayed, and that was gonna be my game. I was gonna get a PS4 and Watch Dogs and play that on launch night. But with Watch Dogs delayed, I really don't see much reason to pick up a PS4 out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, Watch Dogs is also coming to PC, and I mean, it looks like a cool game, kind of about hacking. Basically centered around hacking, which is a little unique. But it's like an open world game, kind of like GTA at the same time, from what I gather. So it looks interesting.
hmm So, are there any books you're reading currently?
Currently, I'm reading three books. I'm reading Civilization and Its Discontents by Sigmund Freud. It's an old classic. I'm also reading Absent Friends, which is a short story compilation kind of by Frederick Bush. And then I'm reading The Telltale Brain by V.S. Ramachandran, which is on neurology basically and kind of how the brain evolved.
Are you interested in psychology? Is that something you're studying?
I'm not studying it. I'm a journalism major, but I am. I have kind of a passing interest in it, just kind of what makes people tick.
I can understand that. It's really interesting to see why do we act the way we do, what makes us do the things we do. I can
Yeah.
understand that. What can you tell me about this short story collection?
It's called Absent Friends, which is actually I think it's cut from a Genesis song off of their album Nursery Crime from way back in 1971. But
So this is a modern compilation.
well, I mean the book itself came out. I think the first edition of it came out in like 1985, so it's a little older. But
That's modern by my standards.
well, yeah, I mean if you're talking about like medieval books in there too or something. But um, basically it's about like people who have somebody missing in their lives, be it like a parent, sibling, like a spouse, something. And it's kind of about how these people cope with these losses, and it's like in different ways. It's an interesting short story compilation.
Is it sad? Do you
It really depends on the story. Some of them are sad, some of them are kind of touching, but I mean they're all pretty interesting. And the guy writes kind of like in this minimalist style, kind of like Hemingway. So it's interesting.
have you read any of Hemingway, like The Sun Also Rises?
I've read quite a bit of Hemingway. I've read The Sun Also Rises, A Farewell to Arms, a lot of his short stories. I like The Sun Also Rises a lot better than A Farewell to Arms, just because Catherine Barclay in A Farewell to Arms just grates on me so much because she doesn't have a personality. She's just like, I'll be whatever you want me to be, like the entire book, but like she never develops into her own character, and it just annoys me. I think The Sun Also Rises, which is basically about the lost generation following World War One, is definitely I like that a lot better.
I didn't get a lot out of The Sun Also Rises as I was reading it, but as I read online like critical analysis of it, it's like, wow, that's really impressive. All the ideas he throws.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn on it because half of me wants to think, well, there's a bunch of rich people, cavorting around in Spain, basically just enjoying their holiday and being bored, and then the other half of you is like, well, this is a symbol of that lost generation after World War One. They're all damaged in some way, but they're all getting along. They're all survivors. So I mean, there's kind of, I think you have to kind of look at it like that way rather than studying it, because I mean, the characterization and stuff in general is kind of weak. But the
Yeah.
overall message, I think, is a lot stronger.
Are you familiar with the playwright Moliere?
Moliere, I've heard of him. I've heard of his plays. He's got quite a reputation, but I've never actually seen any performed or read any.
Well, I have been appointed the captain of my school's literary criticism club. So as part of that, we have to read one drama, one collection of poems, and one novel. And the play we have to read this year is called Tartuffe from
Tartuffe.
Moliere.
Hmm.
I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I have no idea, but sounds interesting. Now, do you just read it, or do you actually perform it, or what?
Well, we don't perform it, but I believe the idea is that we read these books, and then we also study like the history of literature, different works, different genres. The the club isn't exactly formed. It's kind of it's really up in the air. But I'm the captain, I suppose. So it's still my job to read through these books.
But do you actually choose them, or is it like faculty choosing them?
It's not even faculty. There's a organization called the UIL that we have in the state of Texas that I believe it stands for I don't know what the U stands for, but it's Interscholastic League, where um, this is what our football teams compete on with. This is what all these academic organizations compete. Basically, it sets the standards that we use. It determines what books we have to read, and then all of the teams from the different schools come together and they compete.
Huh. Interesting. What else are you reading besides the Moliere play?
Moliere, well, I was reading a lot of the play Othello
Mm-hmm.
because I was trying to do because I'm also in a classical independent study where we have to produce some kind of project. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to make a movie, and I wanted it to be very political. I wanted it to be about racism in a post 9/11 world. So I took the play Othello, and I wanted to make my own version of Othello, but I ran into a lot of difficulties because the film festival where I had to compete, it's a school run thing, so
Right.
it said that the movie you make has to be G-rated, and making a G-rated Othello is not easy.
Yeah, it wouldn't be easy even with Shakespeare's version, let alone what you wanted to do with it.
Yes, so I ended up saying I shelved the script. It's still written, this
Yeah.
gigantic 120-page script I have written, but
Wow.
we wrote, me and my co-director, we wrote a different script, and we're gonna film it. It's a lot shorter. It's only like 10 pages.
Yeah. I don't know, hang on to it. You might be able to do something with it someday.
Someday. Beyond that, there's a lot of books I want to read, but let me. Actually, never mind. Have you read this? Have you heard of this book called Tyrant Memory?
I don't remember. Who's it by?
Let me look it up. I can't actually remember. It's I picked it up at a book sale. It's from this guy named Horacio Castellanos Moya. It's
Hmm.
I believe I picked it up at a library sale. I can't seem to find a
I,
thing.
I have never heard of it. Um, I'm assuming it's Spanish or some kind of.
It is. It's a Spanish novel about a
Yeah.
dictator who came to power in El Salvador in 1932. It seems like it could be really funny. It had the word black humor on the back, which I said is always a plus. So
It
I picked
is.
it up.
Oh yeah.
Uh, is there anything else? Is there any TV or movies that you're watching?
Not really, to be honest. I watch some reruns of some stuff on Netflix once in a while, but other than that, not really.
I'm in a similar position, except I don't really have a Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, oh wait, are you doing anything for Halloween?
No, not really. Probably just passing candy out and doing homework. Exciting.
Do you have your own place where kids come and ring the bell?
Um, we don't really get that many kids here. There's a few, but I mean, I just got like a bag of candy. That's about it.
All right. So, should we move on to our first guest?
Yep, let's go ahead. Move on to Josh.
All right. So, Josh, how's your day going? How's today been for you?
It's been pretty good. I don't know, not much to say about it. I had a good time today. Hung out with my friends and talked about TimeSplitters. So I had some things to say when I came on.
That's terrific. It was raining here, which is really unusual.
It's beautiful and sunny out here, so
It's raining in Illinois.
I guess Canada's just a nice place to be.
It's always
Nice
sunny
and
here,
Illinois.
and we hate it.
It's
at
always
least I do.
sunny and it's always sunny in Canada.
Illinois is always depressing, so.
So move there.
Or where exactly in Illinois are you? Like, are you near the Chi-Town area?
No, I'm downstate. I'm right in the middle of the state, pretty much. It's like an urban center completely surrounded by cornfields. So, just to give you an idea.
Have you ever been to Des Moines?
Des Moines? No, I haven't actually. That's in Iowa. That's probably about 2.5 hours from me.
We go there pretty often because that's where my grandparents live.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, did you say Chi-Town area?
Yeah, the Chi-Town area.
Yeah.
You mean like
Also known as Chirac.
Isn't it Chicago?
Yeah, it's
If you
Chicago. But here's a funny story. Everybody in Illinois, downstate, hates Chicago because everybody in downstate Illinois is like extremely like batshit crazy conservative, and Chicago's like this bastion of liberal like political sentiment. So everybody always wants to secede from Chicago. They say let Chicago be their own state, and Illinois can be this conservative place. So, funny story.
It's the same way we with Austin in our state.
Austin just wants to be its own state. It's like the one liberal place in the entire state of Texas.
Yes. Have you ever been to Portillo's?
Is that in Chicago?
I think so. I've heard of that.
I don't go to Chicago very often, so I don't think so.
Apparently their hot dogs are supposed to be pretty good.
Well, pretty much any place you get hot dogs or deep dish pizza in Chicago is going to be excellent because they know how to make their junk foods up there.
I'm always told that like a deep dish pizza is like a literal like 3 inches deep. Is that true? Because I've never been to Chicago.
It's like lasagna but a pizza is how I've heard it described.
That's pretty much. I mean, you have to eat it with a fork. You can't pick it up with your hand because it'll just fall apart.
You can
Really?
try.
You can try. Yeah, it's very messy.
That's awesome. I've never had one before, and I've always wanted to.
I think
They-
come down to Chicago.
Oh, well,
Show
let
you
me
around.
just mosey on down, you know?
Hey, start walking. You'll be here in maybe a week or two.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that far from Chicago, am I?
You're closer than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll start walking north and you start walking south, and we'll meet in Chicago.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Chicago's on the lake, right? It's on
Yes.
the lake.
Yeah, it's on Lake Michigan.
Oh, okay. That's actually fairly close. Yeah, I see. Okay. How far is it from Buffalo, roughly?
Buffalo,
That's-
New York, you mean?
Yeah. Not too far.
Oh, I don't know. Probably about half a day's drive, maybe.
That's not actually that far. Well, that's like the closest area where I am. That's like an hour away.
Ah,
How close are you to Toronto, Josh?
If I walk outside of my house and look across the lake, I can see it.
I can see Dallas across the lake.
Dallas. Who wants to look at Dallas?
Not much of anyone. It's
Yeah.
not a really pretty city.
Exactly. Well, it's not Detroit, at least.
So, Josh,
So me.
you wanted to talk to us about why TimeSplitters, the original TimeSplitters
Yes.
that launched with the PlayStation 2,
Yes.
is the best TimeSplitters.
It launched
Now-
a day before the PS2, actually.
The day
Fun fact.
before.
Yeah, in America, it came out a day before PS2 did.
are you kidding? I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's often the case because games launch on Tuesday
Yeah.
and other things launch on other days, typically speaking. So, what is it exactly that you prefer about TimeSplitters 1? Is it the difficulty? Is it the speed?
Well, yeah, you pretty much hit my big points. TimeSplitters 1 it's a lot more difficult than TimeSplitters 2 or 3. Well, definitely 3. It's debatable on TimeSplitters 2. TimeSplitters 1 is more difficult in a more traditional arcade sense. Like you have to go through the levels repeatedly, and you just have to know where the enemies are and where the hard spots are, essentially. Whereas TimeSplitters 2, like, it's more of a traditional sense of difficulty where there's just, like, the level itself is difficult. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, that was always the thing for me when with Time Splitters 1. You always had to memorize, like, I'm going to turn this corner and I'm
Yeah.
going to shoot.
You turn the corner, the two guys jump out or spawn at you, and you got to hit the guy on the left because he swings first or whatever. And I really enjoy that a lot more.
Yeah, I like the memorization, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part about Time Splitters 1 was the story mode. So that was, well, for most of the games, the story, playing through, like, co-op with my friends.
Yeah?
So I found that for Time Splitters 1, like, the story mode is a lot quicker paced, and it feels like you're doing more while you're playing. And the map design is, I think, fairly well done in that, like, when you play Time Splitters 1, you know exactly where you're going the entire time. You know, you just got to get to the end and then get back. Whereas, and like that's your goal. You just run through the level and run back. And the levels are designed in a way that it's linear enough so that you don't get lost, but it's also open enough that there's at least some room to explore. And I feel that Time Splitters 2 just doesn't have that. And my favorite part of Time Splitters 1 was playing through, like, my friends and I would do speed runs of Time Splitters 1 on easy and just see how fast we could do it. And we tried it once with Time Splitters 2, and the game just was like, it's a lot different and it's a lot slower, and you can't do that because of the level design, I find.
Yeah, Time Splitters 1, I noticed, is really, it's always on in a way, like things are always happening, where in Time Splitters 2 and 3, there's idle moments, there's...
Especially in levels like Neo Tokyo and Siberia.
Definitely.
Where one of my biggest complaints with Time Splitters 3 was the NPCs. They really, like, drag down the gameplay, and...
Like the guy that you have to protect in Chicago, etc.
Yeah, like the guy you have to protect in Chicago, or following Crayola, I think, in Neo Tokyo.
Yeah, we have to pursue her.
Yeah, it just felt like a lot of the times you're just sitting there and waiting, and nothing's going on, and you didn't know where you were sort of supposed to be going. Like, the world was open, but it was also too open, in a sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. I mean, what I always hated about Neo Tokyo is you've got, like, this huge city, and unless you just run off and start, like, screwing around, you don't even see most of it. You're just following Crayola down, like, this narrow street.
Yeah,
So.
and it feels like there should be a lot more to it, but there isn't. It's just the one linear path that she takes. It's also really difficult because it's really hard to stay hidden.
I hate Neo Tokyo. It's my least favorite Time Splitters 2 story level, really.
I think it's... Oh, go on, Josh.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's probably mine, too.
I think it's like one of the most interesting looking levels in Time Splitters 2, but as far as playing it, it's not that much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't get me wrong, it looks like Blade Runner. I mean, it looks really cool, but I hate it. I hate playing it. Like, I just half the time when I play it, I just go and screw around and be like, oh, let's look at everything.
That's what my friend and I did. We went on a recent playthrough of Time Splitters 2 on normal, and we got stuck on Neo Tokyo for about, like, 3 or 4 hours, or not 3 or 4 hours, like 2 hours or so. And we just got bored after a while, and we're like, what's around the city? And we just sort of explored the entire town and had a good time. And that was more fun than the story level, I found.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite level in Time Splitters 1?
My favorite level in Time Splitters 1. Story level?
Yeah, story level.
I don't know. It's a really close call between either Mansion or Village. I like Village a lot because you can... Like, it's just, like, really fun. You just, like, race through it, and there's never a dead moment. There's always, you know, zombies popping up, and I really like the setting and all.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of fun with Mansion just because a friend and I, we always play through it and try and beat our best time, and we've gone through it so many times, like, we know every part of the level by heart. And I just have a lot of fun with it because it's like, extremely difficult, and I really enjoyed it.
So did you do any of the challenges that you get after you complete the game? Have you messed around with those any?
I've tried, but I'm sort of like, I only play games with my friends, really. So
Okay.
It's hard for me to get into the challenges because they're obviously like a one-player thing, and that's
Mhm.
not something like I don't sit down and play TimeSplitters by myself, especially TimeSplitters because it's a very multiplayer game. Like you want to hang out with friends and be like, let's all play deathmatch and stuff like that.
Does TimeSplitters 1 have co-op story? I really haven't even played
yes.
it that much.
It does,
It
but
does.
you don't get progress from it. I don't think you have to complete by yourself to unlock the characters, and
Me,
the-
or do you?
I think so.
I did beat it by myself, so I don't know. Maybe.
Did you beat it on hard?
No, I beat it on easy. Beating TimeSplitters 1 on hard is insane.
Have you got?
My
Go
friend
on.
and I are trying to do it right now, and we're stuck on Chinese. So
Have you tried to playing through it on normal?
yeah, we've beaten it on normal, but
Alright.
we beat Tomb after like a couple tries, and then we were on Chinese, and it's just impossible.
Is it like TimeSplitters 2, like when the difficulty goes up, you play more of the level, or does it just like throw in more enemies and stuff, or make them like have better aim?
Yeah, it does change the placement, so you have to go through more.
Sometimes, I think mostly for the jump from easy to normal, you have to go through more.
Yeah.
On hard mode, it's mostly just like they throw more guys at you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fucking insane.
But it's not like TimeSplitters 2 where you have to burn the cabinets or blow up the dish. It's still, you have to get the item and take it back. It's still pretty straightforward
Oh,
in that regard.
That was my least favorite part about TimeSplitters 2. Was the more like the harder the difficulty, the less like streamlined your objective was. Like
Yeah.
the best part about TimeSplitters 1, I think I said before, was it's just really simple. Like go to the end and then get back. And then in TimeSplitters 2, it's like the harder the level is, the more
You have to go around and do
yeah
all
you have
these
to
things.
you have to like dig around and like you have to find the filing cabinets and you have to burn the radar or blow up the radar, and you have to do a bunch of these extra objectives that don't do anything, and it just gets annoying after a while.
I can see that.
Yeah, just kind of pads the level out a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't actually increase the difficulty all that much.
Especially Robot Factory. Oh my god, Robot Factory on hard is like it's so long. It just takes forever. I mean, it's not. It's hard just because it's long more than anything.
I haven't done Robot Factory on hard. I've done it on normal. I'm still working my way to TimeSplitters 2 on hard mode. So
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Does Future Perfect do the thing where the levels get more complicated on hard?
No, it's just like the enemies are more difficult to kill.
I mean, the thing is with TimeSplitters Future Perfect is that like there's so little difference between difficulties. Like I went through the whole game
Yeah.
on hard and I had like no problem at all. Just like there's no difference almost.
Yeah. My
Like, and go
my
ahead, I'm
biggest
sorry.
gripe, no worries. My biggest gripe with TimeSplitters Future Perfect was that there was no, like, you can't drop in and play it like you can with TimeSplitters 1 and 2, and it's so easy that, like, I don't know, I just, like, the two things
You there?
combined completely ruined the story for me.
Oh.
Did Chris drop or something?
Hello? Are you guys there?
Hi, I'm here.
Hello?
I think Josh is. Josh, I think you cut out for a minute. Not really.
Yeah, he was saying something and then I couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. I could hear you guys.
Are you still there?
Yes. Can you guys not hear me?
Josh, you're cutting in and out. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Give me 1 second.
You sound fine now.
Oh. Okay.
Alright, so what were you saying about the story in Future Perfect?
I'm
You're saying something like
that-
you can't drop in and out.
Yeah, it really bothered me how you couldn't. Like with TimeSplitters 1, if you and I were to just start, and we started at docks, and there's no, like, you don't say, oh, what's going on, because you don't understand the story or whatever. It's just like, oh, we're just playing, or like we're just going through this level. But with TimeSplitters Future Perfect, it tried to be story heavy, and if you didn't start from the beginning, like the rest of the game sort of made no sense, and that was a big draw for me for TimeSplitters Future Perfect.
I can't hear you, Josh.
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Yeah, all right. Let me try something. 1 second. Hello?
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 Am I back?
For the time being?
There we go. Oh. Okay. No, nothing bad happened.
Alright, I'm just going to count down. 3, 2, 1, and then
Same.
go back to what you were saying.
Oh, okay. I wasn't saying much of anything.
Yeah, okay, so you want to move on?
Sure, why not?
Alright, so have you been reading anything? Watching any movies, TV, etc.?
Me?
Yeah, just have you been doing anything outside of TimeSplitters, I guess?
I've been trying to get back into Fire Emblem. Have you ever played it?
I have not. Are you playing like the one for the 3DS, the one for the GameCube,
The Game Boy one.
Game Boy? That's Path of what is that?
No, I have, well, there's two for the Game Boy. There's the original one, Fire Emblem 7, and Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. I've been trying to get into Sacred Stones recently, but it's not working for me.
Do all the Fire Emblem characters share? I mean, the Fire Emblem games, do they share characters? Like, is Roy, Ike, Tharja? Are they all in the games?
No. Roy is in Fire Emblem 6 Binding Blade, or Blinding Blade, or I don't know, some sort of it's the prequel to or sequel to number 7. No, Roy's in that one, but they all, for the most part, have different characters. Like Ike comes from the GameCube one, Path of Radiance and
Yes.
Radiant Dawn, and like unless it's a direct sequel, for the most part, the characters don't show up at all.
So entirely different cast for each one.
Yeah, like Tharya or Tharha, whatever. I think her name is from the new one. She's a brand new character. Like you don't see her in any of the other games.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there anything else?
not really. I don't do very much.
Do you use YouTube any? Is there anyone who watch on the site?
Yeah. I watch YouTube. That's like the only thing I did do. I haven't been watching as much though.
Alright. So is there anything else you would like to say?
No, not really.
Alright,
I'd
so
like to say goodbye to everybody, I guess.
it's been a pleasure having you, Josh.
Yes, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for letting me stop by. I'll see you guys around.
Anytime.
Alrighty.
Hello, guys. Boris.
Hey, Boris.
Hello.
What's going on?
This is the TimeSplitters Portal podcast. TimeSplitters Portal is a website.
You don't have to introduce us.
Yes. Scott Johnson, also known as Driftin.
Actually, my real name is Tim. This is a pseudonym.
Yes,
Pseudonym.
Tim. And we have Christian.
Yes.
Chris. Motherfucker Chris.
It doesn't actually mean motherfucker.
Oh, okay. It sounds like it.
That's what people say.
What does it actually mean?
When I was like, let's say 11, I wanted to come up with like a cool name that I could use on the internet, right?
Uh-huh.
So I put some letters together, and I came up with this name, and it was, I don't know if I've ever pronounced this. It's Mafujilate, and it's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. But everyone just shortened it to the first four letters, which were MAFU. And so then I wanted to come up with a name that would convey that the duality that is me, that I'm Chris, and then I'm also this other person. So I just put the two together, and that became my username.
Wow, that is a very interesting story.
I know, it's philosophical.
That concludes my origin story.
Awesome.
So Boris, how's your day been?
It was pretty good. I ate some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in my relationships class.
Relationships class?
Yes.
What do you do in there?
We learned different styles of communication for relationships.
Is it like speech class?
No, I've already taken speech in middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Also, I had English, and we read some more of Fahrenheit 451. Really good book.
Oh. It is. I just read that this summer, actually, for the first time.
Yeah, it's.
I have.
You should read it, Chris.
I was gonna read it when I was like 13 or so, but I never got around to it.
Well, if you want me to give you the basic synopsis of it, it's like.
Well, I know generally what it's about. I've read the first, let's say, 50 or so pages.
Okay. Then you should have a good idea.
Like I know the significance of the title. I know all that.
Yeah. Tomorrow I have geometry.
How is geometry?
It's not that hard, but you really have to pay attention in the class.
Do they make you memorize all these different theorems? Then you have to give proofs of things. You're like, oh, according to this theorem, according to that.
Well, part of it was theorems and proofs, but usually most of it is like algebra and finding out measurements and such.
Yeah. The memorization aspect was always my least favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Where I have to memorize the different theorems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I am not a math person. Is anybody here a math person?
I'm kind of a math person, but I got a lot of D's in middle school in my math class. Mostly because my teachers were douchebags.
That's what the D stands for.
Yes.
Indeed.
Like, I think I do generally okay in math.
I do better. I do better in math these days.
But I wouldn't call it my forte. What about you?
I was gonna say there's a reason why I'm a journalist and not a mathematician. That's because I can't do math to save my life. I can write, but I can't do math.
Oh, right. Were you guys wanting to ask me any questions?
Well, Boris, you sent a thing that said you wanted to talk about your YouTube channel, so I've got a couple questions about that.
All right.
But first, let's talk about Tomb Raider 3, because I know you were making your way through that.
Yes, I was breaking my way through that one, and then I got stuck again.
So, where exactly is Miss Croft? What's going on in her adventure?
Well, it turns out that a meteorite has landed in Antarctica, and so far she is in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, which is India. I've already gotten past India, but
India?
now I have basically it's different from the other Tomb Raider games, because at certain parts in the game you get to choose where you go, and right now you get to choose whether you go to London, Nevada, or South Pacific Islands.
Is there a meaningful difference when you choose? Like, if you chose to go to the South Pacific, could you never go to Las Vegas?
No. You don't go to Las Vegas, you go to Area 51.
Okay.
But, I heard somewhere that you have to choose a specific level to go to.
Yeah?
And I'll have to look up a walkthrough for the game to figure out where to go. Because it seems to be one of the hardest of the Tomb Raider games.
Would you recommend it, though?
I'd recommend Tomb Raider 4.
Tomb Raider 4. Are you just playing them sequentially, like Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, or are you just kind of pick and choose?
I pick and choose. I have Tomb Raider 4 on the PC and the PS1.
Ah.
Yeah. I also have the second one and the first one.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this a couple days ago. I said I had Tomb Raider Anniversary, which is like the remake of the first one.
Yeah, it's much better than Tomb Raider Legend, because with Tomb Raider Legend, they really fucked up on the difficulty part, because it's not that hard of a game especially when you play on hard mode.
Mm-hmm.
All they really do is make the enemies more powerful, and that's it. And I don't think there was another way to make it more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play the game Shadow the Hedgehog?
I have heard of it.
Was that the one where Shadow had the guns?
Yes.
He had a gun.
Yeah, I thought that looked really stupid. I never
It was
played
incredibly stupid, but I was thinking about it because...
And he says the word, "Damn it."
Yes, it's so edgy. But I was thinking about it because that game had the whole system where, like, if you could play the level like a good guy, like a bad guy, and then you would go to different levels depending on how you played. Which I thought,
kind of like Infamous in a way.
In a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never played a Sonic and the Hedgehog game in my life.
I played Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 like in middle school. It was a long time ago though.
I'll have to check those games out.
Were you in middle school when those games came out?
Yeah, I was. I don't think they dated very well though. Either one of them. I just played Sonic Adventure DX this summer, and it's just kind of like, why did I ever like this game? It's just like very easy.
I know
the voice acting just grated.
I know they released the classic Sonic Game Gear games on the 3DS eShop, and I was thinking about checking those out, but when you look at the videos of them, they look a little more choppy than the Genesis versions.
Yeah.
For me, the coolest... Oh, go on, Boris.
Yeah. You go on.
For me, the coolest thing about the Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, or Sonic Adventure DX, was that was this kind of open world you had. This was before I had played like a Grand Theft Auto or anything like that. And it was really neat for me to go around this environment and explore it. The levels, playing it, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, the open world's nice, but I mean, do you remember the way that Biggs the cat or whatever sounded?
Yeah, and then you had those terrible fishing missions.
Ooh. How are the fishing missions?
Horrendous.
Yeah, they're not very fun.
Fishing mailed. So, were you wanting to ask me any more questions about my YouTube?
Let's move on to your YouTube channel. So, so you sound like someone who's really interested in video games. Does your YouTube channel reflect that?
Yes. I do plan on doing more playthroughs as time goes on. Right now, I'm doing a Wolfenstein playthrough, which is like the 2009 version of Wolfenstein.
Okay. Would you consider yourself more of a Let's Player, a long player, or what?
Playthrougher.
Okay, so alright.
Because I cannot do Let's Plays to save my life.
So you don't do like the commentary and all that?
No, I don't do the commentary. I would like to do the commentary, but I'm not a very fluent speaker during my gameplay videos. Yeah.
You could always do post commentary if you needed to.
Yeah, but I always do pauses, and I don't like that. So, it's kind of difficult.
Have you thought about writing like a script out, kinda, and then reading off of it?
I have thought about doing that, but I'm too lazy to do it, and I have too much time on my hands to like do homework and such. Yeah.
You could even do like a text LP and not actually say anything.
Yeah, but
if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah, but then people would say that I'm copying off of PewDiePie.
PewDiePie.
I don't think anybody wants to copy off of PewDiePie, do they?
No. PewDiePie's pretty gay.
Well, go ahead, I'm sorry.
How would a text LP, excuse me, how would that be copying?
Well, remember when he used to do the text on the screen and his voice at the same time?
Well, maybe. That wasn't really what I meant when I said a text LP.
Yeah, think what he meant
Well,
is just like subtitles that
PewDiePie-
kind of tell you what's going on screen.
Yeah, PewDiePie
Or-
fanboys would just do anything to blame anyone. Like,
Or you do a thing where you
play this.
you take screenshots of the game. Go on.
Like, if you play the same game as PewDiePie a few days later, they'll start attacking you because you played that same game a few days later. I can't think
I
of
guess
any.
it's just
Yeah, I can't think of any examples at the moment, but I know there are quite a few.
I was just gonna say, I guess this just proves how terrible YouTube's community really is.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
but
I'd just turn off comments on everything if I had anybody actually watching my videos.
yeah,
YouTube as a whole can be pretty terrible, but if you find smaller communities, people who share your interest in, it can be useful and it can facilitate a healthy conversation. I've found,
I think
but that's
the
pretty rare.
I think the reason that YouTube isn't that great as a whole is all because of Google. When Google bought YouTube back in, I think, like 2008, they kind of messed it up. Because then they started letting people get money off of their YouTube channels,
Mm-hmm.
and I do not support that, which is why I'm not a YouTube partner.
I mean, what I remember from that is that YouTube comments were never great. I mean, even when they weren't owned by Google, they weren't great. But I mean, what happened is besides the monetizing you mentioned, also is that a lot more people started coming to YouTube, and you started just getting like, you know, videos swamped with people commenting and arguing, and you know, you can't go to any video without seeing that.
Yeah.
So
I just don't like how someone like PewDiePie can jump on YouTube and get millions of subscribers while someone like me can.
well, have you ever watched the Retsupre? What was the Retsupre video where they talk about PewDiePie?
Adults react to PewDiePie.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
the one. That basically sums up everything you know about him in
Yes.
like 8 minutes.
Well, Retsupre is a pretty good YouTube channel, and they deserve more subscribers because they generally
Yeah.
have better content. DSP Gaming is not one of those guys that deserves it, and he's kind of going downhill as well.
Yeah. I definitely agree with what you say about the monetization hurting YouTube because when people are only in it for the money, they're not in it for making good content. They'll go to greater limits
Yes.
to get the money.
Yeah, like
and it's,
post 10 videos a day or something.
yeah, the content really takes a backseat to the dollar signs in a way,
Yeah.
I mean,
which
even,
is really detrimental.
even PewDiePie admitted that he posted a comment on the Retsupre video that said something like, "Ha ha, I'm still making money," or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he knows
Yeah.
he's like, nobody can say anything that's gonna make him, you know, not make tons of money off of the people who love him, even though all he does is sit around and scream about rape and stuff all the time.
He's kind of backed off from the raping thing, didn't he? After the Retsupre video,
Has he actually backed off from that? I don't watch any of his videos. I tried
I
watching
don't
one.
either. I don't.
tried watching one just to see what it was all about, and I'm like, why do people like this kid? I don't even know.
Why do my sisters like PewDiePie?
Do you now have like 1 million PewDiePie videos whenever you look at your recommended videos drifting? Now that you've watched one?
Yeah.
Ah.
I actually turned off the recommended channels thing on my
Yeah.
YouTube channel, so I didn't have to see PewDiePie's channel.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could do that, because I get recommended stuff over there all the time. Like, I'll watch a music video, and then, like, I'll get, like, tons of, like, music videos and stuff that's, like, completely unrelated.
You just have to clear out your history once in a while. Because usually my sisters
Yeah.
will go on my YouTube channel and watch videos that I don't even like, and then will start popping up in my related feed or something like that.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I saw a thing, like a Chrome extension, it was called like No PewDiePie or something, where it will just go through YouTube and remove all the instances of PewDiePie so that you don't have him in your recommended or related videos.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny.
It's amazing.
it is. Well, I haven't tried it yet, but I might have to check it out. Even though I don't really get many PewDiePie pop-ups.
So, who do you watch on YouTube?
Well, as I was saying, I watch Retsupre.
Hmm.
There's this other guy that I watch called Jack the Bomb. He does PS3 videos and such. He did some PS3 rants back in the day when Sony was doing stupid shit. Like, remember back in 2011 when the PlayStation Network went down for about a month or so?
I think it was like 2 or 3 months. It was very long.
I know.
A bunch of people got their passwords stolen or something too, didn't they?
I think that was the case.
Yeah.
I think Sony told everyone to cancel their credit card or something like
Yeah,
that.
they did tell them to do that. Let me look at my YouTube subscription box, because I don't remember exactly what people I watch. But another one I watch is Some Ordinary Gamers. He does creepypasta videos and such.
So when you say creepypasta, does he do it in like the way
Yeah.
Slow Beef does, where he makes fun of it, or
No,
does he?
some of them he makes fun of, but I actually like Slow Beef's interpretation of how he makes fun of them.
Yeah, those videos are pretty funny.
Yes.
So the videos you watch, are there any things do you think you can take from those channels and apply to your own, so that you can
gaming, basically. Like Retzy Prey, for example, I really like how they make fun of games such as Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark, Deep Fear, games like that?
Yes. I've also been watching Low Tax a little bit.
Yeah,
I mentioned that.
I really like his channel also.
I think Tim said that he didn't like it that much.
I've never been a big Lotex fan. I don't know. It's just he seems like he has such an ego, like on the forums when I read him. It just kind of turned me off from looking at any of his stuff. I mean, maybe it's good. I don't know, but it's kind of a bad first impression of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
He has a partner on his videos called Schmorky.
Schmorky, his name is.
Yes.
Schmorky.
I also watched this kid called Django296. He does
What kind of videos does he make?
3DS videos.
How does he record the 3DS? Does he have a capture kit or what?
No.
It's just a camcorder.
Yes.
Oh, I hate those. It's like you don't put any effort into your videos when you do that. It just looks like crap.
Well, to be fair, if this guy is trying to record a 3DS, there aren't many options.
Yeah.
That's true.
But the 3DS doesn't really have many capture card options. I mean,
Well, you have to.
there are some capture cards out there for the 3DS, but most of them are expensive.
If you want to record footage off a 3DS, my understanding is that you have to buy a special capture unit, like a special 3DS that can output video.
Yeah, it's
and those are usually only given to
reviewers.
journalists.
Reviewers and
Yeah.
such.
Huh.
But I've seen some people doing the Pokemon Let's Plays where they actually got a hold of a capture card somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
They haven't cracked the 3DS yet, have they, for emulation?
Not yet.
Well, I saw a thing where someone was putting code on it, like they made their 3DS say something on the top, which is usually the first step, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you're talking about
Yeah,
emulation.
emulating. I mean, have they cracked it? Could they like be recording it off their computer, maybe?
Well,
I
hope
know
they.
quite yet.
Yeah, you go on.
I don't know quite yet.
Well, I hoping they crack the PS Vita soon, because I want to play my PS2 games on that, even though I don't have it.
Yeah.
So what do you think the future of your channel holds?
Not much, because of YouTube.
You're not
What do
going
you
to be a
think?
YouTube superstar?
I could be a YouTube superstar if I continue my videos, but
So
not as large as other YouTubers.
Well, I'm not talking as large as other YouTubers, but what do you think you can do to really take it to the next level with your channel?
I could try writing scripts for Let's Plays and such, because I have a ton of games in my game collection and such. And
It's not even. You don't even have to write a script necessarily. You could have an outline, some general idea of what you're going to say. Yeah,
You don't want it to sound like too rehearsed, I guess.
yeah.
exactly.
Let's see. Is there anything else we can talk about?
Do you have any plans for Halloween? This I've written down. Are you going to go trick or treating? Are there any parties?
I was gonna pass out candy.
That's what I did last year.
Yeah.
This girl in my computer science class was apparently going trick-or-treating, and a lot of my friends are going with her. So I'm going to have to buy a costume tonight if I'm going to go out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So hopefully they have something nice at Target or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I have a question for everyone here.
All right.
Okay.
What are you guys getting for Christmas, or what are you planning to get for Christmas?
For Christmas, that's a good question.
Yes. Well,
I don't know.
I'll share what I'm getting. Right now on layaway, my mom put Grand Theft Auto 5 on layaway.
Very nice.
Have you played any of GTA 5 Drifting?
I have not, because I only have a PC, and it's not on PC yet.
Yeah,
so.
that kind of sucks. But knowing Rockstar, they probably shouldn't do that again.
They'll port it, but they'll port it like a year from now, I bet.
They'll
which is
port.
what they did with GTA 4.
But GTA 4 does not run very good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't run very good at all on PC, because they did a piss poor job porting it.
Yeah, Doom 3 BFG Edition ran better on my PC than Grand Theft Auto 4. And my computer is like 4 gigabytes RAM. Yeah.
Yeah, BFG Edition had a lot of complaints against it for stuff like that, though, didn't it?
I think so.
There was a thing where they made it so you couldn't buy the original on Steam.
Well, I remember that, but I thought there were problems with the actual game itself as well.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna get Remember Me, which is like a futuristic combo fighting game. It's also
See, I've heard of that, but I'm trying to remember what it's like.
It has a lady in it.
Yeah, it's basically like
she's a lady.
You can sell your memories and such in this futuristic world.
Yeah.
And
Now I remember.
in some parts of the game, you have to reverse memories. And it just seems like a really interesting concept. Yeah.
So as far as what I'm actually getting on on Christmas, I generally don't know that until the 25th because my parents are good about keeping things under wraps,
Yeah.
if you'll excuse the pun.
Yeah.
But
What are you hoping to get?
well, I was one of the things that was on my list, like this would be cool if I could get this. Not necessarily like but it was the PS4.
Yeah.
But I'm growing less and less interested in the PS4, especially as I mentioned earlier, with Watch Dogs being delayed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a PS4 because of the fact that it has a $15 subscription, like, for PlayStation Network. And that would be fine, but I don't really get much money. So...
Yeah. I don't really go online much with my PlayStation. I'm not really a multiplayer guy, so I don't know how much that will really affect me.
I used to be a multiplayer guy, playing Black Ops all day, but I sucked at it. I'm also getting a Wii U for Christmas.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know any games you're going to be getting, like the Wonderful 101?
My mom's gonna try to get me the Wind Waker HD bundle.
All right.
I'm also getting Resident Evil Revelations, which I also have it on the 3DS.
I was about to say, is that the one that's on the 3DS?
Yeah.
Have you played through it on the 3DS?
Yes, I played it a lot. I played over like 50 hours of it.
Wow.
All right.
Because there's like a bonus mode in it called Raid Mode. And the nice thing about the console versions is that you can go up to 100 levels instead of 50 on the 3DS.
So, you level up in the game?
Well, in Raid Mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like where you get... It's like get from point A to point B.
What about you, Drifting? Is there anything you're looking for this holiday season?
Not really, to be honest. Probably a couple books. That's about it. Probably not gonna get a whole lot.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an old man here.
Well, you're not that old.
Yeah.
He's
But
the only one of
I was
us
also gonna-
above 18.
Yeah.
Of drinking age.
Above
That too.
drinking age. I was also going to get Pikmin 3 and Zombie U.
I've heard good things about not drifting, about Zombie U, but also pretty poor things.
Yeah, I know I know Lame Informer. I call it Lame Informer because I don't really like Game Informer. But they gave it a 4 out of 10. I mean, they give good reviews and bad reviews sometimes. I totally agreed with their SOCOM 4 review because that game was not very good.
Yeah.
So...
Patrick Klepek of Giant Bomb, he gave Zombie U 4 out of 5, and he called it one of his favorite games of the year. So either you'll agree with him, or you'll agree with the magazine, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I just
All
have to
depends
see.
on personal taste.
Yeah.
I've seen a Minecraft mod video on my YouTube.
Your subscription?
Yes, and it's called New Girlfriends.
Is it like that girlfriend mod that Red Supre did a video of?
It says Minecraft New Girlfriends, Bikinis, Fighting, and Love mod showcase.
Well, that sounds fascinating.
I know.
That's probably a very high quality product.
Yes.
Substitute for a love life right there.
Who needs
We can only
Who
hope.
wants the wonders of having a girlfriend when you can just play Minecraft and get a girlfriend there?
When I can have a girlfriend made of blocks.
Two birds with one stone, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
Well, Boris, do you have anything else to say?
Not really.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with
It has
you.
been a pleasure talking with you too.
Thank you for dropping in.
Yeah.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
Okay.
Well, that's going to conclude our show for today. I think it went well, Drifting. How about you?
I think it went very well, even though we had a couple of no-shows or technical problems.
Well, you know, there's always next time. I had a lot of fun doing this. Maybe we can do this again.
I think so. I'm thinking probably near Thanksgiving, right around there.
So you're thinking a once a month thing, or?
Once a month, probably. It depends on how much we have talked about. I'm sure we'll have some of these people we talked to today come back, Josh and Boris.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, until then,
This was the TimeSplitters Portal podcast, everybody.
all right.
Okay.